How's it going, guys?
Today is the Saddleback Cliffs.
I'm Jonathan Zaharek. Welcome back to the #1 Adirondack hiking YouTube channel. And as I just showed you in the beginning, I'm gonna down climb and up climb the Saddleback Cliffs today so I can bring you guys the best tutorial out there for those of you who are curious. Now I came out here all the way today just to do this for you. Kinda. I'm doing my grid 46, so I actually had to do Saddleback for the month of August, just Saddleback, and I thought today would be a fantastic time to create this video. On my way up Saddleback, I actually climbed the back of the saddle slide to get up here, so it was really fun. Yeah. And I actually documented that for my Patreon exclusive members only. So if you want to see some epic slide climbing and a ton of other exclusive content, well, become a Patreon member. It supports me, supports the channel, and you guys get access to a ton of exclusive things. That being said, today is not going to be too complicated for you, but for me it will be because I have no one here with me, and I'm going to down climb and up climb these cliffs with this camera, but I'm not going to try to do it vlog style. I'm going to try to actually station the camera, and I'm going to be running all over these cliffs like ants and whatever, so hopefully I survive. But before we get into it, if you guys have not picked up your copy of Hiking the Adirondack 46 High Peaks by yours truly, well, you guys can Google this book, get it anywhere. My website, Amazon, anywhere that sells books, you can get this book. And I just want to thank you guys. We just surpassed 3,000 copies, and I can only have you guys to thank for that. So thank you so much for this. Pick it up. I do have a tutorial, or I do have a guide in here about the Saddleback Cliffs. So I guess without further ado, let's get into it. It is a gorgeous day. It is probably right around 68 degrees, 0 to 5 miles an hour wind here, and just absolutely amazing. Absolutely just gorgeous up here. The first thing I want to say is I recommend coming from Basin to come up the cliffs. The other thing about the cliffs that I do want to tell you guys, almost 99% of the time, they are dry. Even in the rain, they're not terribly hard to climb. They don't get very slippery, but you do want to make sure you have really good tread if you're going to do Basin to Saddleback, because it is probably the toughest mile in all of the high peaks. So there's really no room for error. You got to be careful. You need to do the upper Great Range in good weather, like today. In the wintertime, the cliffs are also predominantly very dry. They don't get very icy at all unless there was an ice storm. So you can pretty much do this range and come up and down these cliffs pretty safely as well in the wintertime. It's actually not that crazy. They get a lot of direct sunlight, and that's why they're pretty dry most of the time. So with that being said, I mean, this video is really just going to be me going down the cliffs and up the cliffs, and you can see, and I'll talk to the camera a little bit. One last thing to know is ropes are not necessary for this type of thing here, because if you fall and you're connected to someone else, they're going to come with you. So I would just make sure to check yourself for if you're scared of heights or if you're bad with exposure. I would recommend just skipping this whole section between here and Basin, doing Haystack and Basin by itself, coming back a different day and doing Saddleback from the other side. Let's get right into it. The first thing I want to note is the summit is just over here. So when you come from Basin and you come up the cliffs, the summit, it follows here to the right. So as you can see, there are blazes on the rock to indicate where to go. So right when you come out to the summit, if you're going to go to Basin, you'll be coming down from here to the right side across the edge here a bit. So you're not just going to go straight down once you get there. So follow the blazes. And when you come up to the cliffs, you'll then come across here and follow it this way around to the summit. All right, let's down climb them. So I'll hold my camera out here first as I down climb them, and then I'll do more static shots throughout. Follow the arrows down the crack. Don't go too far to the right. Don't go too far to the left. There will be blazes to follow. So the first half is actually very mild. It's very stair-steppy. So you're not just literally climbing cliffs. It's very slab-like the whole way up. It just feels very cliffy because of the exposure. And there, of course, there are no fall zones. You don't want to fall. People have gotten very hurt here. But yeah, you'll just keep going down. Just like that. So as you come down to this first shelf here, here's the blaze, and it wants you to go to this rock and this rock. You don't want to go out too far to the right because it all gets cliffed out into this section here. So seriously, try to look for these guys and follow them the whole time. Try to sit down when you can. You don't want to jump. You just want to be careful. There's no reason to rush. And make sure you always look for the handholds because there actually are phenomenal handholds up here. Just keep blowing yourself down. So just keep on sitting down. It's going to be the easiest way to do it. Always have 3 points of contact. They'll have a shelf for a second. Keep looking for the blazes. The blazes want you to keep going down here. Now this is going to be more like a classic slide climb section. So you just want to be very careful. A lot of this right here you might not need to touch, but if you need to sit down, go for it. It'd be very easy to sit down and down climb this section here. Just keep going down, grabbing when you can, following the blazes, and try to keep your feet in the rock cracks if you can. There we go. And then before you know it, you'll be at the bottom of the cliffs. This will be your last iffy move. There's some people down climbing it right now. All right, again, when you get to this crack, it can be a little tricky. Sit down, turn around, try to let yourself down gently. There we are. And voila, we are there at the bottom of the cliffs, and I even had a helping hand at the bottom. Now, if you're coming out here by yourself, you're probably somewhat confident and experienced. So coming out here with someone else who might be a little bit more confident than you, if you don't feel so confident, will go a long way. So without further ado, let's now ascend the cliffs. Here is the trail, and it comes out, and this is what you are faced with here at the very bottom. Go up this way. Getting onto the cliffs is a little awkward at first. Just make sure you can get your feet up. Look for places consistently to put your feet and to grab. We'll kind of flatten out here for a second. You just want to keep following the blazes up. Believe me, these blazes are accurate, but when you get up here, you do have two options. The blazes want you to go to the right, which you can, and climb the crack up, which is probably the easier way. Here you go, after you come up from the crack, pretty clockwork now. Keep following the blazes, and you'll come back to this guy. And that's the top. Come right up to the crack. If you see this crack, you're in the right place. And there we go. Saddleback Cliffs. Going down them And going back up them technically is twice, which then put me, that was my 11th and 12th time doing them. So yeah, once you're at the top, you'll just keep following the blazes across. And then eventually, you'll pop right out to the summit. There you have it. All right, guys, well, thanks for watching. I really hope this video helped you. It's not, you know, some epic short film or documentary or whatever, but I really want to be out here helping people here in the peaks. That's why I put the guidebook out. That's why I have this channel, and really trying to do my part here. So that being said, it is a beautiful day, and I wish every day was like this out here, but it's sadly not. All right, I'm gonna go. I'm Jonathan Zaharek. We'll see you next time.